Welcome to the Bothering Strangers podcast. My guest today is Chef Ali Weinberg. Ali, how's it going?
Living the dream, Max. How are you today?
I'm good. You're a pioneer, like we were talking about. You're the first family member I've ever had on the podcast.
I think we should try and talk for as long as we can. So even if you have another family member on the podcast, I'll be like the longest interview of a family. I want to hold a record regardless of the success of this podcast.
Wow, that's a lot of ego right there.
I'm always thinking next level, I had to always stay ahead of the game.
You just want to be number one in something, but you don't
Yeah,
care what it is.
I'm just hungry for one always. Yeah.
That's hilarious. So let's talk about your restaurant.
Yeah, let's do it. Park Bench Diner.
Park Bench.
We opened up August 14th, 2020. It's been a dream for over about, I would say about now like 2 years of development, like from a conversation, a tiny little seed to a beautiful tree. I would like to say it's a tree more than a flower that it is now. And now we're just like, we're almost 3 months in, 3 months on the 14th of November of us being alive and active in the town of Thornbury in Ontario, which is pretty cool.
That's in Canada.
Yes, that's
Whoever's
in
listening.
Canada.
This is not in.
Coordinates. It's not in the US of A. No, we're talking about the Great White North.
Do Americans come up because you're in like not you're like not in you're like out there in the country. Do Americans come
Yeah,
here?
I mean, it's hard to say, like, because of COVID right now,
Yeah,
like, I don't think like that border is quite active.
it's not.
It really does shock me, to be honest, when people come from like further places than neighboring towns that are around us. Like when someone came from Barrie, I was like, what? Like
Barry's
you
like
came
two
all
hours.
the way from there? No, it's about like an hour away from Thornbury. And then it was kind of embarrassing, to be honest, because I was like, you came all the way from Barrie to come eat at the restaurant? And it was like, no. Like we had somewhere to be in Thornbury and we heard about your restaurant. We wanted to do it. So
You're like, no, you're not that important.
I kind of just like ignored half of their story. I was like, no, they came to eat at our restaurant. Like
You
we're
you
making
spin
big
the narrative
headway.
your way.
Always like that's how you have to stay sane.
But you don't even. But your restaurant's in Thornbury. You live one town away though, right?
I live in Collingwood, yeah, but like it's a straight shoot. Like it's one long highway, Highway 26, that goes from Collingwood to Thornbury and then to other towns past Thornbury, Meaford, and then some. But it's about a 20-minute drive, 15-minute drive. And like I can't complain about the commute. Like it it rides by the Georgian Bay, which is a beautiful piece of body of water. And like that's my drive every day is like still blue. I like
Not frozen.
can't complain about no, not frozen yet. We've been having some pretty hot temperatures right now, but um originally and like always, I think the dream will always be opening something up in Collingwood. It's where my husband Brian and I moved to like, embark on this dream of opening up a restaurant one day. But we were so fortunate after about a year and a half of really searching for a location that this location in Thornbury was presented to us. And even though it was in, the deep ends of the pandemic, it just still screamed yes. So we took the chance. That's for sure.
Did you I find now because now that I have once upon a time lived in the Midwest, I find that like long drives aren't bad if there's no traffic. Like if it's like straight shot 40 minutes
Right.
and you're going like 70 miles an hour or whatever it is, like what there's no should you find that too now that you live out in the country and things are farther away from each other?
Yeah, I definitely like the concept of time. It's really funny. We were just talking about this, Brian and I, that like I just give myself more time to get places to enjoy the ride that is the ride. And like, now like it's fun to just drive somewhere and see what's on both sides of you, like through the window, and listen to some tunes or listen to a podcast or listen to nothing at all. But yeah, like I hate traffic. Traffic to me is like the worst thing. Actually, this is a bold statement because it's not the worst thing. So
Go
like,
for it.
please don't troll me interweb.
Go
But
for it.
like, it's one of the worst things that human beings do is freaking
Whoa.
traffic. I, it's like, pet peeves. Like people are like, I hate when people, eat with their mouths open. I'm like, I hate people who cause traffic. And like, that's such a stupid statement. But I mean, like,
You
yeah,
like?
anytime I used to like anytime we visit Toronto and we're in traffic for like 20 minutes, I'm like, typical. This is ridiculous. Like I get so angry. So yeah, I feel you. Like country life is traffic free, which is fantastic.
So you're saying that you like when people chew with their mouths open then?
I actually hate it too. I think it's like
It's
probably one
it's
of the
the worst
most,
thing. It's awful. It's terrible.
it's probably the most unattractive. I'll do this. I'll double down right now. It is the
Yeah.
most unattractive human quality.
Wow. That I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you what the most untragic. I haven't thought about it. You've clearly thought about it.
Well, it's in the nature of my business. Like people eat all around me, and
How
I eat a lot too with people.
sure,
So
yeah.
like, I mean, and like when I'm at a restaurant or I'm at my restaurant and I'm watching what's happening in the dining room, it's hard for me not to like see people eating, not like where I'm like staring intensely at their mouths. But you definitely notice the one person who's like, "Oh, I know exactly what you just ordered because I can see it." It's
You
like,
see,
"Yep, that's the grilled cheese. That's it. You did it."
how, how many? What percentage of the guests do you think you? I feel like it's very few.
Oh, no, 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 very few. And I wouldn't say it's at my restaurant. It's kind of like a joke, but like definitely in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, I could fully see exactly what you're consuming, and I know what you've ordered. Disgusting. I judge you. Uh, but yeah, apologies.
I guess you have an additional set of like things that bother you because you've been in the food business for so long now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am still a young gun. I'm turning 30 this year, and like I've been in the industry for almost 10 years, which is a very long time, no doubt. But I also don't want to state like it's too long or like it's on the end spectrum. But I think it's more of tendencies of human beings in general. Like I think people take advantage sometimes of us, and there's definitely times, not me personally, that our side of the industry takes advantage of other humans. But I think it's crazy how people like can treat a server like and
Really,
just like demean them to like zero, like not them being humans. Like
the servers
it's
get the brunt
just
of it too.
they get 100% of it. Like I have so much respect for the service industry. That was
Oh,
something I
me too.
like my mentors have always taught me is like the respect for the front of house is so integral because they are the front lines of your restaurant. Like they represent your culture, but they also are the punching bag
They're the
and
PR
like
face. They're the PR face.
and the glue. Yeah. That and the dishwasher, man. You got
Mm,
to treat your front of house and you got to make sure your dishwasher is the happiest person on the planet.
that's a lot. They got to wash a lot of dishes. A lot of.
It's the dirtiest and
Oh,
thankless job in the restaurant, but like without a dishwasher, you can't operate.
you can have a restaurant without a dishwasher. Yeah, that's
My
insane.
husband was the dishwasher for the first week and a half
Brian
of
was the
opening.
dishwasher.
For the first week and a half of opening. He's never worked in a restaurant in his life, and he rose to the occasion, the hero that he is. Not all heroes wear
He
capes.
really is. He takes it all. He takes it all like a champ.
You should have seen him the first day after. He was like completely drenched in like dishwater.
But he probably
Still with a smile. And
Yep.
then like the next day, the best
Simon,
part was the next day he walks into the kitchen and like Coach Brian
this man's
attire, like
the teacher himself.
tights. Yeah, like tights with athletic leisure shorts on top with dry fit t-shirt. He's like, I'm ready to dishwash.
He prepared. He
Like,
just prepared this
yeah,
time.
he was ready to rock. He was wearing, yeah. Never found a dishwasher like him ever again. He was overqualified.
Well, no, you're not going to. Not as good as your husband, because no one's gonna
No,
care.
I don't think there's any dishwasher like that I know of that has a master's degree. Like that's
Probably not. I would be surprised. I would be.
unless that's like a chef's table episode being like, I choose to wash dishes. Actually, there's a great chef's table barbecue episode of a woman who is like an incredible Texan barbecuer who's
Who's that?
also a janitor by day.
Janitor by day, barbecuer by night.
Yeah, and she's like, everyone loves her at the high school, and then she like Friday to Sunday barbecues at this little restaurant, and it ended up being like this massive conglomerate, not like this massive like tourist attraction where everyone in Texas and everywhere would go visit her. But she was like, she's also pretty crazy of a tycoon.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
for her. I was gonna say this about servers. It's
Yes.
rarely ever their fault. It's usually like, and this is not, and this is
Oh yeah.
not to disrespect anyone, because like mistakes are made. It's the mistake is coming from the kitchen, and they're the messenger.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, there's definitely like there are times where a server forgets to do something, and then there's are times that the kitchen forgets to do something. Like I've been on both sides. You know, I've served and I've cooked and expedited, but where the like where the where friction starts is when a guest feels hostile and defenseless and then decides to like attack out of like just maybe embarrassment or just entitlement. And it's like you have two options. You can take it, or you can take it depending on what it's like pick your battle. But then there are other options where like, I'm not going to stand for this in my restaurant. Like, you are no longer welcome here.
Whoa, has that happened where you've been like, you gotta go?
That's happened in previous restaurants in
That
my
you've worked
life that
in.
I've worked at.
Got it.
Yeah. Where like there's been misconduct between a patron as well as a server, and the server has done nothing to provoke and has done nothing aggressive, and then it's just like a matter of like, okay, you've crossed the line. Before something becomes even more serious, you need to leave. But
You know where you should run a restaurant then. You should run a restaurant in the UK, because they have the stereotype that like they never send food back there.
yeah, I
They
love
they
that.
just eat.
Like, I do you send food back? Because I don't send food back.
If for me to send food back, it has to be like really off.
Yeah,
It has
fair.
to be,
Like
like
if it's
really,
like
really off.
rotten.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's
fair.
rotten, if the order, if I ask for like, oh, don't give me these things, and they gave me like, if it's like messed up, if it's like cold, if it's cold, sure.
Yeah.
But if it's warm,
I've eaten cold food. I haven't returned it back because it's been cold.
I don't remember the last time I ate at a restaurant, ordered a hot dish, and it came out cold. It comes out warm, that happens, but cold, I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, that's like the worst, man.
And
That's so
I don't, and
scary.
if it's warm, like send it back. That's fine. Um,
It's just like at that point, it's like, what are they're not gonna recook it.
you're picking
Or
straw.
maybe they will, like depending, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna do something to reheat it, but like just eat the fucking food at this point. Like,
Yeah,
just go for it.
yeah.
I mean, to each his own, like
Really, really, really to each his own. I'll say that. Like I
yeah, like
send it
respect
back.
you. I think like for me as like a business owner and a restaurant owner and like someone who believes in hospitality and service, like whatever I could do to make sure that the guest is really freaking happy
Yeah,
and like feels attended to and feels like, yeah, I might be gluten free, I might be vegan, I might not like this, I might be picky, this might make me nauseous. But like everything, like we're a safe space. You can just come in here and be like, I hate this, I love this. Can you make me that? And we say yes. Like everyone who works for us says like we are a yes restaurant, which
yes,
is like
restaurant. Yeah,
real, which is really integral because there's a lot of restaurants out that there are like no exceptions. Like this is what you get.
which is what's crazy is that I don't do you find that the restaurants that are like no exceptions? Are they fancy restaurants?
No, I mean, there's restaurants in Toronto that are like that. I think it could be a matter of like volume. You're doing so many people. If you're getting all of these modifications, it slows down everything. And it's just easier to just like see what's on the bill, cook it and send it out, and like not have to worry about errors with the service staff in the kitchen and like lack of communication. I mean, I understand the reasons. I don't agree with them.
Right.
I
Right.
think like the Korean mission statement of hospitality is understanding that like we provide a service, period.
Yeah, for sure. What
And like, yeah.
have you ever been eating, just like not like owning, but eating with somebody and they've gotten their food and it wasn't what they wanted, but instead of sending it back, they just complained the whole time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
I can
at that point, please send it back. I don't want to hear about it. Just send it back.
this is a major loaded question, and I'm not going to sewer anyone here, but I actually know human beings in our family
I do too. I do.
that
They're the same people
that,
you're thinking of.
that I would just be like, you know what? Let's just get this to go and go drive through somewhere, because like you've ruined my meal.
Yeah, there's that one. It's also like this, right? If you come in our family, when we used to go on vacations, right? We go out to eat, there's 10 of us eating, right?
Right.
What are the odds of one thing being wrong? High. Quite high.
That's unfortunate that that's your expectation.
It could be a small thing. It might not be something
Right.
I would like complain about it, but it might be like this. Let's say like we go to the Cheesecake Factory, right? Classic.
Right.
We would always
Oof.
you'd come to the States. I would stay in the States. We'd go to the
Yeah.
Cheesecake every vacation when we were kids and teenagers. And the bread comes like a little late. Not gonna be complained about to the waiter. No one's gonna say anything to the waiter or waitress, but like that's the
No,
beginning of
there are
the
remarks.
bad service.
Yeah, I actually, this is so funny because we just had this conversation as well with my service staff. One of like my best friend loves Sims. Have you ever played the Sims games?
The computer game.
Yeah, and you
And
know how they have like follow this train of thought, like and Sims have like 100%, they like start off green, right? Like they're 100% happy.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then when they get like tired, they get yellow. When they have to pee, they get yellow. When they're like really hangry, they get red. I say like guests are like that. Like sometimes they come in red, they come in yellow, or they come in green. But it's integral as a restaurant to always try and change the way that they feel by the time they leave the restaurant. They all have to leave green, but it's okay how they come in. So
Right.
sometimes, yeah, like people come in yellow, like mediocre, and like then, yeah, the bread doesn't come when they think that it's going to come, and they get down to red. And it's like, okay, like it's going to be harder for them to get to green. I'm really going to have to really work with these difficult humans. But like at the end of the day, I really want them to remember that, like, regardless how they came in, they left really freaking happy. I don't know if that's the mission statement of the Cheesecake Factory, but
I,
it is a French
I
genre.
don't know. It's a huge corporation.
Yeah.
I recently went to a restaurant and I came in like I guess you could say green. Pretty much I was chilling, whatever.
Okay.
I left red. I was not happy leaving
You left red.
because I didn't like the food.
Yeah, that's
It wasn't like anything. It was that. Do you know? I don't know if they have this place in Canada. Do you know about this place, BJ's Brewery?
no, we do not have BJ's Brewery.
Okay.
I don't think so. Maybe it could be a West Coast thing, like maybe in Vancouver,
It's
but
in
like not
Florida.
in.
It's in the States.
Oh, okay. So
It's
then
on the
no, maybe
coast. So I
not
go
anywhere
there.
I've heard.
I go there with the parents for the first time like in years.
Okay.
They're known for like one good thing, the desserts. It's called the Pizookie. It's like a melted cookie and they put ice cream on. It's delicious. Okay.
You had me at melted cookie. So
Exactly.
great.
Right. Go there. Order like a pizza. They do like quote unquote deep dish, right? Meaning it's like technically deep dish, but you order and then it comes out 20 minutes later, so it can't be deep dish because deep dish
Got
takes
it.
20 minutes to cook.
Right.
We get like what is supposedly like a deep dish type pizza and something else. And I'm like, this food sucks.
Right.
And I honestly I wasn't even that like super hungry, but I left like I feel worse now.
Yeah.
And when I
I
took
like that's a terrible experience. Like it's a terrible experience that nothing about that kept you at a green, okay, like the food sucked, but like, the atmosphere or whatever
service
that was
was
happening
fine.
there, like what?
The service was fine. There was nothing like extraordinary about it.
Exactly. Like really didn't save the cake. I mean, now when you go back there, what are your expectations now? Like, will
I
you order the same things?
truthfully, this is just my whole thought process, and this is kind of I went there because like other people wanted to go. I didn't go like by choice.
Right.
If I were to go there now, I would go there simply for the dessert and possibly beer. That's
Fair.
because
And that's like managing your expectations of
I
having
know
a
what's
really good
good.
time at that
They have
establishment.
great
Yeah.
dessert. I know it's good. They have good beer. I would go there. I would do that. So
Yeah.
that's more just me like knowing like this is what I like there. This is what I'm gonna get.
That's important.
Yeah. So what is your thoughts on the term "the customer is always right"?
Oh,
Loaded.
oh, that's
Loaded
a,
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what a interesting segue. Um, the custom, the customer is always right. I mean, no, not true. I understand
Concept.
the concept of like, treating the customer like they're always right, but I also think there's an integral role as an owner and as a manager and supervisor, and this is kind of like our mission statement for that level of staff is like you are the mama and papa bear, and you guys need to protect your staff. So if they're again like is there conduct that is more aggressive or isn't deemed appropriate in any setting, then no, the customer isn't right. The customer is wrong because you're treating another human being poorly. But if it's a matter of like error and making sure that they leave happy and like, little wins for guests, comping something off a bill if they feel like, if they feel like their food took too long and even on like the timestamp it took 12 minutes or 17 minutes to get to their table, it's honestly really easier for me to comp that dish off the bill than be like, no, like I don't care if they come back. It's like, listen, it's one dish. They feel like they don't deserve to pay or they feel like they need to express their complaints about this. I want them to feel heard. And it's not like I can, rewind time. So the only other option for me is either provide them with something for free or like, a discount or give them a gift. And like it's just a I wouldn't say a quick fix, but it's definitely something that I find is so necessary. Like I tell my staff, it's like, just listen to your guests, listen to their complaints and their feedback. And if there's a solution there that we can make them feel happy or heard, then do it. Like, don't wait. Don't ask my permission. Put a bottle of wine on their table, pour another pint, give them free French fries. Like, if it's going to, cushion the blow and make them feel more heard and listened to for the time being that they're in our home, then do it. Like they pretty much have carte blanche to do anything other than like open up the reserve cabinet and bankrupt me in one sitting.
I think you touched on something important there because this is the first time you're on the owning side of a restaurant.
Yes.
Is that everything you're talking about? Like, is that you trust your staff to make the like reasonable decision
Oh,
when
100%.
dealing with problems?
I was very much like, this is a Victor Barry, who is my mentor, very, very close friend, as well as was my boss for 10 years. He always used to say something called like, rip the cord. Like, don't wait for me to get there and do something. Just make a decision. And even if it's not the decision I would make, then we would have a conversation about it after. But like, in a restaurant, there are moving parts and things are always constantly moving forward. And we don't have time to sit and chat about something in the now sometimes. So
No.
I rather them just be like, okay, we're just going to do this and then we'll talk about it later. I mean, we talk about a lot at Park Bench of saying like we work with each other. No one works for me. Like there is a cohesive bond between myself as an owner and an operator and all of my staff, supervisors included. And I think that's why we work so well together. And it was a lot of them adjusting to this new sense of leadership and administration, where it was like, I trust you to do this and spend the money and do whatever. And they're like, always coming to ask me, ask me, ask me. I'm like, stop freaking asking me my permission, just do it. Which it was an interesting exercise to watch, like these kids, like obviously trust me, but I wanted them to trust themselves. I'm
Right.
trying to like build them up as much as build the company up as well. It's hand in hand.
I forgot to ask you this in the
Mm.
couple months since you opened the restaurant. So obviously, as I'm sure you know, like opening a restaurant is like one of the riskiest business decisions to
Oh
make.
yeah. So I've
And
heard.
to add on to that, you opened it in a
Yes.
pandemic. So my question is twofold, I guess. One, how many people were like at any point before the pandemic, after the pandemic, were like, don't even open a restaurant? Like to your face, you're like, don't even do it. And two, how did you respond, and do you respond to people that are like, that say that?
Um, First, it was a lot of comments and emails and phone calls of being like, thank God you didn't open up a restaurant before the pandemic because you would have been dead in the water. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I know, I get it, whatever. But then when this restaurant came about, honestly, I had no pushback.
What?
Everyone was like, well, I mean, everything was working in my favor. My landlords have been extremely accommodating in terms of COVID and rent relief and understanding that I'm a small business and making sure that, they feel like they're being compensated, but at the same time, not breaking my bank so I can get off to a good start. But everything, seemed to be pointing in the right direction of like pointing out COVID aside that up here it's still extremely serious, and I do not want to, I'm not negating the intensity and like the seriousness of this sickness of COVID, but up here it's less aggressive. We're a lessly densely populated place. There's less cases, and everything is somewhat as operational as it's always been, other than social distancing in public areas and maintaining your social bubble. So we have indoor dining, our gyms are open. Um, there are people walking around in the streets of all ages. Like it's kind of Disneyland up here. So I wasn't worried about people not being able to come to the restaurant because that was still active. And I really thought if I could open up the restaurant in August, I would have a little bit of the taste of the summer because we have a really beautiful patio. The pushback for me, there wasn't any pushback. There was just like a lot of, I can't believe you're doing this, but for some reason, this could possibly work. It just seemed like I've been really dancing around this idea for so long, and me pulling the trigger validated everyone else's, worries, being like, if she's going to pull the trigger, that means she's ready because like she's been waiting long enough. This wasn't, sorry, my only opportunity in the last 2 years to open up this restaurant, but it was the only opportunity that made sense, ironically. So, um, still a risk nonetheless because it's a restaurant and I'm still very new to this town. But at the same time, I truly believe we are doing something different and also something that is really integral for the town. There's not something we're doing really. So I think we fit in nicely and we respect the community just as much as they respect us.
What a beautiful sentiment.
Thanks, Max.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Great answer. What do you so I'm surprised you didn't get a lot of that much pushback when you actually started the restaurant. Did you get like at any point did you get more like people just kind of with like attitudes of like where they wouldn't outrightly be like this is a bad idea, but instead they just be like thinking like they kind of imply it's a bad idea?
It's more now, it's like, I can't believe you opened up a restaurant in the middle of the pandemic and I
Mm.
can't believe it's working. it's not like a bandwagon. It's more of just like, you son of a bitch, like you did it. It's a funny ride to wave, like
It's weird. I've found it too.
wave to ride, not ride to wave, by the way.
Yeah,
I was like
yeah,
ride to wave. I
yep.
like wave to ride. Yeah, it's it's really great to have mentors who still, luckily in Toronto, have restaurants where I can, talk to them about what they're going through they're going through a way more intense and stressful time than I am. But I it's integral right now because of COVID to just take it literally every day by day. Like there's no week to week, month to month, year to year right now. It's just we we just take it a day at a time and evaluate every single day as a new day to either make or restore funds, and just try and stay alive for as long as we can, and know that winter is coming and ski season is coming, and knowing that people will slowly start coming up again, which is all of us, like all small businesses up here, are waiting for. So
Forgot about ski season too, so I didn't even realize it was only gonna get better.
yeah, this is like our something called shoulder season time, where like it's in between two sports like summer and winter, and it's just kind of like a kind of time. So it is like, not only is it shoulder season and not only is it a restaurant, the cherry on top is also like, yeah, it's in a pandemic, but rain is like our worst enemy right now.
Rain?
Yeah, precipitation is like, no one wants to leave their house when it's raining, which I get. Like,
That's true. That's true. I remember every year in college, the first day of snow was
yeah.
like the most dreadful day.
But what's beautiful about snow up here, which I explain to like any Torontonians or people that I know that move up here, is like snow stays white. Doesn't turn
Ah,
this like slushy brown. It's just like pretty all the time. So it is nice to look forward to. It's just I wish it was a quicker transition. I don't like getting comfortable with this like hot, rainy weather, and then it gets cold again, and you're like, okay, is it here to stay, or are we going to get screwed again?
I'm thrilled. I no longer live in a cold climate. I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah, you're a hot zone man.
Not hot, but it's just I just find it like I just realized that I like nice weather so much more
Right.
than I expected to, and I'm sitting here as the winters come for the first time since like 2015, gonna be in California, and I'm like, I don't have to worry about winds, snow, rain,
Right.
um, um, whatever
Living your
else.
dream.
Exactly. What is the what level of dining is your restaurant?
What level of dining? We're a diner. I say always, like, my shtick is like, we're red and white checkered diner, but a little bit more refined. I think like all of our food is recognizable, grilled cheese, cheeseburger, club sandwich, French fries, tater tots, the whole thing. But it's served on like heavy ceramic plates, and the service is not like drop your food and you never see each other again. I really do love to describe it as like white tablecloth service with elbows on the table type of food.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Um, yeah.
What do you since we are both from the same family, and in case you couldn't tell by your last name, at least you are Jewish, what do you think like
Yes.
Jewish food? The food like you
What do
ate.
I think about Jewish food?
No, 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 no. What do you think about like the food we ate growing up? Like what do you think what kind of influence do you think that has on you now? And
Oh, a major influence. I think like really like culturally Jewish food, like not carrot simis, which is like just stewed caramelized carrots, but yeah, chicken matzo ball soup, but like culturally, like Jewish deli, and me going to visit my family in Montreal and going to the staple like Jewish hub centers in Montreal, like Schwartz's and Snowden Deli. And Julep obviously isn't Jewish, but like definitely see the tribe there when you're there, and like I only go to the same places over and over again. And like, I think it's also what Jewish food, like Jewish brunch, we know how to brunch really well with like
I think that's a
this.
Canadian thing, by the way. I think
No freaking chance, dude.
I don't
Jewish brunch
I
is
don't know about
across the board.
I don't know about this.
Maybe, I mean, like, go to New York, man. Like, go to Jews in New York. They
I've
know how
been
to
Jewish for
brunch.
23 years. I've been a fully certified Jew for 23 years now.
Yeah, but you've been an Irvine Jew for
I've
23
been an Orange
years.
County Jew. That's a fact. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm telling you that I'm a Toronto Jew, but I've traveled not a lot, but enough around to different lands where I'm saying Jews know how to brunch. Jews know how to freaking brunch. Like,
Listen.
look at Israel, man. Israel's brunch is insane. It's
Okay.
like
Yes. They have
it's the
fire brunch.
spread of it's a powerhouse brunch. It's like everything you want, rip and dip and yum yums, but like you don't feel like crap after. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, sorry, try members. I'm gonna go lack of kashrut here, but as much as I love a good like bacon
Wow,
situation, like
you're really
buffet,
moving kosher here.
I love a good Israeli brunch. And like I also love like what food memories I have revolve around the Friday night table,
Oh yeah, me too.
Sunday morning brunch, like real like simchas like that, and just revolving around food and like our family itself. And like I think it's like more of a traditional than actual dishes itself. Like, I didn't grow up having like my parents weren't amazing cooks. Like, they cooked to put food on the table and like nourish us, but it wasn't like my mom is an incredible cook. Like she was an entrepreneur. She was like, here's spaghetti and meat sauce. I gotta make some money. Like, and my dad too. Like, he made soup, but like there was no what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Doug made soup and sloppy joes. That was like a major thing. And Fran was always about the chicken teriyaki and a solid barbecue.
I knew that. I knew
Like,
that.
she'd make hamburgers from scratch, and they were like
They
this
were
big.
huge. They were so big.
Yeah, huge. So much ketchup, so hilarious. And
So
then
much ketchup.
um but like we had a lot of extracurricular activities growing up, and we did eat out. We were fortunate to eat out often, but the thing that was always the same, we either went somewhere or we had people over for Friday night dinner, and you weren't allowed to make plans that night
I think
or
I
not till much later, like not till like
right,
9:30
right.
or whatever. You had to clear the table, you had to do the thing. So in hindsight, like building ideas about restaurants and building the ideas of what I love about restaurants, what I love about eating and dining and serving and being hospitable, it really narrows down to those experiences of like inviting guests over, they bring a dessert, they show up,
Mm-hmm.
we have like this lavish meal with like chicken and soup and
Yeah.
sides and bread and tradition, and then we have coffee and dessert, and it's this 4 hour dining
Oh my God, it's
experience.
so long.
But I wish I wish I still did that now, because when I was a kid I was like, can we go downstairs and play with the other
Yeah,
kids?
exactly, exactly.
But it's now like I yearn for dining experiences that is my night activity. Like, I don't want to go have dinner and then like go out after. What I want to do is sit at a restaurant for 3 hours with the company we've invited or agreed to go out with,
Right.
or it could be myself or just me, like my husband and I or girlfriends or whatever. And like we pick somewhere we can just like lose sense of time and just enjoy the
Mm.
time that we have together, which is like very much Friday night dinners for me, for sure.
With guests, the Friday dinners with guests.
Yeah, and like seeing our grandmother, like seeing Bubby, aka Paula Treffler, look her
Yes,
up, Montreal.
our grandmother. Yeah.
Um, she is such a simple woman,
Right.
and she's so good at cooking. It, like her stuff, she's just like the most consistent human being on the planet.
She
Her
is.
golf swing has been consistent for 35 years. I like, she doesn't straight and narrow every single time. And her everything she makes in the kitchen like is completely consistent every single time. Her meatballs, her chicken soup, everything, everything, everything.
Yeah,
Like if I can clone her for my restaurant, I'd be the most successful restaurant on the planet. I'd basically be the Jewish McDonald's.
yeah,
That's what I'd
yeah,
be.
yeah, for sure.
But
Everything is
yeah, she's
good.
also like our grandparents, like very fortunate to have like a few grandmothers in my life, and having like Bubby and Grammy, and as well as Elin in my life,
Those are
who cook differently,
those are your grandmas.
who are my grandmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That like they all cook differently. And I grew up with like tasting different things and understanding like I mean, it's very cool like to kind of understand like their ancestry and their connection to food, all leading up to like one central source, which is myself, which is really, really cool. I love those humans.
I feel like in many Jewish homes, religious or not, across the world, like such like an integral experience is eating, and like it's like eating at
Yes.
events, eating at in the home, like Passover, Hanukkah, like it's like
Happy or sad, man. Like,
happy. It's all just there.
funeral, like at Shiva's, it's like, who's ordering the meals? Like, oh, I'll donate a meal. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, there's food everywhere we look when we like are doing something.
Yeah, we realize the importance of it. I think that's all it really is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, food is just such comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like, and I just, it's not like, I don't know, Jewish food is an interesting situation. Like, I don't, like, I'll never make gefilte fish. Like, that's something I'll never
I
do
don't
in my
like it.
life.
I
Like,
don't
I
like
don't,
fish.
I believe it's like ketchup. You just buy that. You don't make it. You just
Maybe.
buy gefilte fish,
I
you know?
I wonder since we both have very European ancestry. I wonder if we were, if our families came from like the Middle East
Ooh,
originally. I wonder how that would have like affected. Like obviously food's just as important, but the food's different.
absolutely. Like, I mean, do I wish we had a little bit of Israeli blood in us? Like
Oh yes,
100%.
absolutely.
But that's why you go on birthright, to create friendships that last a lot,
I
like a
haven't been on
lifetime.
birthday though.
Dude, I actually just spoke to a friend who's still like, he was a soldier in the army, and he like was part of our program, and we spoke for the first time in like, I mean, 2 3 years, and he like wants to come visit us after COVID.
Oh, good for him. He's in Israel.
Yeah, he's from Israel, born and raised, and he like was part of our program on birthright, and we've kept in touch, and he was like, yo, I heard about your restaurant. I'm like, in the arts, you heard about my restaurant?
In
Like,
Israel.
pass it a scope. He's like, no, 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 like watching your stories on Instagram. I'm like,
Oh,
cool,
okay.
cool, cool.
I was supposed to go actually in June.
Interesting. Well, that's unfortunate.
I was supposed to go in June and then do some traveling around the Europes.
Sorry
And
for your loss.
yeah, life happens, I guess.
Yeah.
But I never really thought about it until later on in life. Like the whole kind of Jewish culture with food, and it's huge.
Massive. And what's cool, it's starting to encroach in the States. Like, there's an incredible Israeli restaurant in Philly
Yeah,
that Jody introduced me to, Zahav, and they have like Dizengoff, I think, and something else. And he's like, he's doing some really solid stuff. There's some hidden Mediterranean gems across like North America, but I mean,
hidden though.
part of the experience is Israel and Israelis in like their natural habitat. It's
I love it.
it's so fun. They're such a fun culture and place to, be in for amount of times.
What
It
I
is
what
cool.
I really like is that I find that Jewish food is changing because they're starting to adapt to whatever cultures around them in North America.
Yeah. I mean, there's also some really cool, when you start like really eating Israeli food and learning where to go, you could start seeing definitely some bleeding of inspiration and neighboring cities and countries and authentic authenticities of like heritage is is really apparent in certain places. But like, it's definitely one of those things where like, as a tourist, you need to go to A, B, and C, but like, you need to really ask a local, like, where do I need to go to really understand where I am right now?
Yes. Yes. That is and people don't do that.
No, we had a great experience in Florence doing that. We were traveling around in Italy, and like my cousins on the other side was traveling Europe with his friends, and we were in Italy for a week and a half together, and they were staying at a hostel, and we asked the hostel representative, like, we want Bistecca Fiorentina, like, where do we go? And he was like, okay, here's where I send all the tourists, and here's where I would go. And I was like, say no more. Tell me about the place that you would go to.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's a hole in the wall. I'm like, oh, you had me at hole in the wall. Like, tell me more about this
It could have
destructive
just been a
place.
hole.
And it like literally was probably the most memorable dining experience I've ever had in my life
What I
so
mean,
far.
was it a hole in the wall? Was he right?
It was like this small little place. The cook in the back was like 85 and had an apron that didn't look like it has been washed in like 25 years. There was just like steak grease and charcoal all over him. And you could only order the bistecca Fiorentina rare. And it was like,
What is
I
it?
don't know.
That steak?
Just a cut of meat that is on a T, like this bone. It's like meat on both sides of it, and it's massive. And I think it was like 42 or 54 ounces, like huge. But we were with me, Ty, my cousin, and his two friends, Joey and Matt, and myself and Brian. So I had like four very hunky dudes and like me, who's half a person. And we like ordered appetizers and vino and ate this steak, and our waiter loved us. We ended up signing the wall of the restaurant,
Oh, oh, it's amazing.
and like grappa and limoncello. There was a paper crown that was on the limoncello bottle that I took and wore for the rest of the night, and I actually still have that crown in like my folder of memories. So
That's nice.
yeah, but I mean, it's just like the company, like what we just talked about. It's just, yeah, it's steak, and yeah, it's bread and wine and whatever, but it was the experience and the flavors and everything was just like definitely sim level green, which was so fun.
It really is a company because I used to eat at Applebee's in college,
Yeah,
and like
that
that's the
sounds
food.
comparable.
The food's bad. The service, which this is crazy. Applebee's is known for bad service,
That's a really good mission statement.
like poor service. Whatever. Say what you want. I don't know. Used to eat there like not often enough, and I always loved it because the food was bad, but the people I was with,
Right.
I just like,
Made the experience.
and we bonded through the bad service, you could say.
I mean, I'm glad you didn't have to go to Florence to have the best experience of your life.
Well, I've been to Florence and I had some good experiences there too, but no, Applebee's still
Just
wins.
not comparable to Applebee's.
No, no, nothing can beat an Applebee's in Kansas.
I hope you get endorsed after this. You've really like set the bar high for Applebee's.
I would try. There have been times in my life where you would think, not on the podcast, in my life where you'd think I was like a spokesman for Chipotle. I
Yes,
was
I've
eating
heard
it like
you talk
once a
about
week.
Chipotle often.
Yeah, I was eating it like once a week. I was like, oh, gotta go to Chipotle. Here's what you get. Here's what you get. Chipotle. This is why Chipotle is so great. You really have to go. Like just constantly. It was constantly a part of the conversation.
Right.
And I was trying to get sponsored by Chipotle essentially, but no, but they didn't hear me.
You should definitely just get a tattoo of something to do with Chipotle. I
Yeah,
heard
the
that is
logo,
really the
the
way.
pepper.
Yeah, you just gotta like do that. I feel like that's how you get a lifetime supply of Chipotle.
Is it Chipotle's in Canada now?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it popular or no?
I think so. To be honest, I'm sorry to say this, but I've never had Chipotle.
Who are you apologizing for?
I'm apologizing to you for myself and my actions because
Okay. Well,
I haven't. I don't also have Chipotle where I live.
right. Well, you live in the country, so
Yes, I
yeah.
live. Yeah, I'd like to define whoever is listening to this that the country is still like a full-fledged. I would say it's closer to a small city than a town, even though we are deemed a town. We have a Walmart, a Canadian Tire, which
Almost
is
pretty big in those parts
yeah.
of
We
Canada.
have like every fast food situation on the planet here. We have like traffic lights and stuff. It's not like just
Traffic
cows.
lights? You've running water too?
Yeah, we
Electricity?
do have running water. Yeah, we have all of that.
Wow. Look
We
at
even have
you.
an Asian snack bar in town. We're so hip.
Oh, that sounds good actually.
Honestly, Collingwood restaurants are really like really cool these days. We really like have upped our cool factor. We got this late night pizza spot that just opened. It's not really late night. It's like 5 till 9, and you pick it up in a phone booth. We had it last week. It was so good. Asian snack bar, and we got some really great variety and awesome run businesses by humans that really rock. So
Wow. Are,
there,
are you a
Irvine.
are you a
So
spokesman?
there.
Whoa. I didn't.
Um, I actually want to push Brian to run for mayor as a joke for like 2025. I just think he just like exudes all country boy, countryman, mayor vibes. But I think he'd literally hate that job. Like I don't think
I can't see
he.
your husband liking it. I'm gonna be honest.
I think like yeah.
He's a hot.
So now he's just going to be the head coach of the highest powered team in our neighborhood, hopefully one day, as like the head coach of the junior A Collingwood whatever's.
What
And
is
everyone around town's like, hey coach.
Hey coach, how's it going, coach?
Yeah, very Letterkenny.
Yeah. I was about to say, is Collingwood similar to the Canadian legendary TV show Letterkenny?
No, like first of all, like I should be so lucky to be compared to as the Letterkenny
So it's an amazing
humans on
show.
that show. It's so damn good. But that's like definitely really sporadic populated areas. That's like farm town. We're like we're a town, man. Like look us up, Collingwood, Thornbury. Like I don't know how else
Collingwood,
to describe
Ontario,
us.
Thornbury, Ontario.
Yeah, we're cute. We have a little like we got skiing. We're pretty cute. We're cute and super cool. Okay, leave
Super, the
us alone.
coolest.
Yeah, the 705. Yeah,
We're really repping the 705 now, are we?
that's actually gonna be my next tattoo. I'm gonna
Um,
I'm gonna get endorsed by Collingwood itself.
where are you gonna put
By
the tattoo?
probably down the neck. Really keep it.
Like down it like that?
Yeah. So
Oh,
it can be really confused for 507 or 705, depending on the way you look at it.
oh man, that's fun. Wow.
Well, I am, a shit disturber. So that's what they call me. So yeah.
That
Yeah.
705. I love that.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, my cousin, Chef Ali Weinberg, thank you for coming on, breaking some barriers, being the first family member on the Bothering Strangers podcast. Thank you for letting me bother you.
Honestly, it's been an honor and an absolute privilege. So thank you.
Stop. That's too much. That's too nice. Let's throw them your socials.
Yeah, let's do it. We're at Park Bench Diner on Instagram, and my personal handle for anything shenanigan wise that has to do with cooking or my personal life and is at Chef Ali G Triple E 16. So yeah, hit me up. I
A
usually do some kind of funny. So yeah.
ALIGEE.
G Triple E, I believe it's Triple E 16.
That's your okay. Park Bench
That's my
Diner.
hockey number.
Park Bench Diner on Instagram. And if someone's listening and they're like, hey, I'm near Thornbury, Ontario, check.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're open Friday to Sunday. Friday and Saturday 9 till 5 and Sunday 10 till 4.
Oh, so I didn't even know. So go through,
Yeah, there you go.
then, check it out. Drive for over an hour just to go there, please, too.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
And Ali G Triple E 16. That's Instagram.
Yes.
Park Bench Center on Instagram. Check them out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me bother you, Ali Weinberg. And everyone, stay safe.